But
Where's
you
the
could,
uranium?
Mehdi, you could argue.
Well, again, maybe your friends in the Tehran regime can tell you, because they won't tell me.
Wow. Wow.
What's going on, you guys? We have Michael Gove looking to trap Mehdi Hasan in logic. Mehdi Hasan is not going to fall so easy. Let's watch.
And respond to some of that. Where to begin? Let's start with I can't have my cake and eat it. I love to have cake and eat it. Michael says, you can't believe two things at one time. I actually can. It's very simple. He says, you can't be a slavish follower of Israel and be all over the place elsewhere. Actually, you can. That is Donald Trump. When it comes to democratic allies, he throws them under the bus. When it comes to authoritarians, he loves them. Right? There's no inconsistency in that position.
But Israel's a democracy.
He has no, Netanyahu is an authoritarian leader. Bolsonaro is an authoritarian leader. MBS is an authoritarian leader. Putin, Orban, we go down the list. He has a global alliance of authoritarian pals. And yes, they are like-minded. And so I don't think there's any inconsistency at all there. You did this line about in his first term, the classic line, no new wars in his first term. Well, first of all, he expanded every war he inherited from Barack Obama. And who cares? Because this is the second term, and he's already broken that line. He literally just started a new war. In the Middle East, he did something that no American president, not even George W. Bush did when Netanyahu asked him to, but Trump did. So he did start a new war. So that talking point, I'm not sure what the point of that was, other than to seduce the audience with your silver tongue. But the point about facts, let's talk about facts, for example. You mentioned, I'm glad you brought up the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. It was an important peace deal, and I'm happy to give credit to whatever role Trump played in that, if he can find those countries on a map. But I would also point out that Congolese activists told CNN last week that they don't believe this deal will hold at all. They think it's a vague deal that was rushed over the line because Trump wants a Nobel Prize, so he signs whatever's put in front of him. And guess who's not part of that deal? Michael pointed out that it's between the DRC and Rwanda. The group that's not part of that deal is a group called M23, which is a rebel group doing much of the killing in this conflict. They're in a separate peace negotiation, which is being led by Qatar, which I'm sure Spectator doesn't want to give Qatar credit for that. But they're having a separate peace process. So let's see what happens. I hope you're right. If there is peace in the Congo, I promise you I will give Donald Trump for that. But it hasn't happened yet, and no sign of it because of one deal. And then you say, by the way, you threw in a little dig. You said, there are no marches in London or on the BBC for Congo. We can speculate as to why. We don't need to speculate. It's because we support Israel. We don't support Rwanda and Congo in the same way that we support Israel. That's why we're outraged about what Israel does. And last point. Fundamentally, Michael, all of your arguments revolve around trust me, it's happening. Trust Trump. Yes, he's promised to go after Russia today. Let's see what he says tomorrow and the day after. The whole point why the world is less safe is because you have a reckless, impulsive, ignorant president who doesn't know what he's doing. And when you say everyone in the Middle East is chastened, it reminds me of that last big war you supported, Iraq, when we were told mission accomplished, and it all fell apart.
And we can see under Trump's administration, there is no such thing as peace. There is no safer place. We have more division than ever in America, not to even mention what's still going on in Russia and Ukraine, not to even mention that Israel is out here bombing Yemen at this point. Where's the peace at, Michael?
Point that Mehdi made. Who can trust Trump? Can his allies trust Trump?
I think you just need to look at the consequences of his actions. So we don't need to make a window of his soul. We don't need to make a moral judgment on whether or not he's a good man. We merely need to look at the consequences of the actions that he's taken. So, for example, in his first term, he engineered the Abraham Accords, which meant that Israel concluded peace agreements with Bahrain, with the United Arab Emirates, with Morocco, all of which contributed to commerce, all of which contributed to a de-escalation of conflict, all of which contributed to making the world a safer place. As Mehdi acknowledged, the conflict which is currently scarring Africa may or may not be resolved as a result of this intervention, but the fact that he chose to intervene, I think, is significant in a way that no previous president had even attempted. So in that sense, the temptation in foreign affairs to make a moral judgment and to hold up one individual against an objective standard which very, very few people can reach is a tempting one. But the question always is, which other leader do we think, certainly which other American president would we consider to have set an example that Donald Trump falls short of in seeking to ensure that the world is safer?
I can answer that question. A president who I was not a big fan of, but did something very good in his last year in office, which the UK government also supported. I believe you were in the government that supported him when he did it, which is Barack Obama and the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear agreement, which actually put Iran's nuclear program under inspection, under control. How much uranium were they allowed to enrich under Barack Obama's deal that the British government of Theresa May supported, or David Cameron, I think it would have been still then in 2015? 3.67% was the level of enrichment that the US State Department and the IAEA signed off on under the Iran nuclear deal. Barack Obama did that deal. Donald Trump doesn't like Barack Obama, so as soon as he heard that Obama did that deal, he tore up the deal in 2018. His own defense secretary, James Mattis, said, don't do it, it's working. Some Israeli general said, don't tear it up. Trump tore up that deal, and that's where we end up today. That's exactly why they have nuclear enrichment at 60%, 400 kilograms of it. The entire crisis in Iran was created by a reckless, impulsive Trump throwing away that document that Barack Obama and the British government worked on. You were in the government.
How can you blame America for
They tore up
Iran
the deal.
enriching uranium?
Because there was a deal.
It's the choice of the Iranian leaders. It's the choice of people whose response to public displays of homosexuality is hanging gay men from cranes.
Michael, have you ever spoken out against anti-homosexual laws in Saudi Arabia or any other Gulf countries?
Yes.
But they're our allies. Why do you use this bogus argument? The British government allies perfectly fine with lots of repressive governments who treat gay people badly. You know, and I know.
We have Michael Gove fumbling, freaking the hell out at this point, not able to actually come with anything regarding the real debate, comes in wanting to with his morals, and then you have Mehdi who comes in and says, okay, well, if we're going to bring it to a moral issue, let's not be hypocritical.
I am more than happy to, whether it's Uganda or Saudi Arabia, but I'm merely pointing out
so we bombing Saudi Arabia?
The Iranian government that so many people are anxious to find excuses for.
Michael, should we bomb Saudi Arabia?
Also one.
Can we come back?
Should we bomb Saudi Arabia? It's a simple question.
No, well, Saudi Arabia has not said that it's intent on wiping out another
so you've
nation.
moved the goalpost. Just now you said it was about gay people. I said Saudi Arabia treats gay people badly. Now you've moved the goalpost. Pick one.
I'm pointing out the nature of the Iranian regime that you seem so anxious, Mehdi, to defend.
I've not said a word of defense of Iran. You defended the Saudi government's treatment. I didn't say a word about it.
I haven't defended the Saudi
government. They all heard
you
say
to come back. I want to come back to this question.
I just find it instructive that Mehdi is so
anxious.
Hang on.
No, Ritalin, just made a
draw your own conclusions.
So hold on. William Hague, who was the leader of your party, the foreign secretary, wrote an article in the Times where you used to write, saying that this action will more likely lead to a bomb than anything else. Is he also an Iran stooge, Michael?
So that's the specific point I wanted to put to you, Michael. Are we in a position where nuclear proliferation is more likely rather than
100%.
less likely?
No.
That's just
and
flat
why?
wrong.
Why would you say that?
IAEA disagrees with you.
Because action has been taken by Donald Trump to deal with a rogue regime
run
by ideological fanatics who wanted to eliminate.
Where's the uranium, Michael?
Who wanted to eliminate Israel.
But
Where's
you
the
could,
uranium?
Mehdi, you could argue.
Well, again, maybe your friends in the Tehran regime can tell you, because they won't tell me.
Wow. Wow. How are they my friends, Michael? Is it my name? My skin color? My religion? Which one is it?
I'm still waiting for any criticism of them.
I'm happy to criticize them. I think Iran is a country with a horrible human rights abuse and shouldn't be developing nuclear weapons, which the US government, by the way, of Trump said they are not developing nuclear weapons. You lied to the audience at the podium when you said they were developing nuclear weapons. Tulsi Gabbard said in March they're not developing nuclear weapons. I guess she's also an Iran stooge. Trump is also an Iran stooge. I would point out to you, very important point. There were 274 monitors from the IAEA in Iran up until Trump struck Iran. They were looking at nuclear facilities every day. How many monitors are in there today? How many IAEA monitors in Iran today, Michael? Zero. None. Trump's made the world less safe.
If you believe... I don't know what...
The whataboutism, the schmears that's going on, saying, Mehdi Hasan is friends with their friends in Tehran. Like, what are we talking about right now? It is so much hypocrisy, so much just an exposure of character from people like Michael Gove, from anyone that is supporting what's going on as far as underneath the Trump administration. It is just disgusting. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.